Alright vlog gang, we are back with another day and I have a special treat for you guys. I'm going to show you inside the mind of a 16-year-old kid, man, I should say man, because his business is making $350,000 a year.
Good, sir.
So,
what's your name?
I'm Jared.
Jay, nice to meet you, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, so his video was just here, but it's kind of static. Like, you don't know anything about him.
And it doesn't play.
Yeah, so...
You have to click it.
Exactly. So here, when you go, it's automatically playing in the background, right?
Dope.
And plus, like, I wanted to highlight whatever was on his Instagram on his site as well. So entrepreneur, host of Hustle, investor, have all links to his social media. So you go, okay, let's check out his Twitter. They go to his Twitter, YouTube.
So I wanted you guys to be a part of this, to meet Jay here, because he's killing it, he's crushing it. I might have an office here. This might be our new location, so that would be sweet if we could start creating content here. He's going to be making my website, so very excited for that. And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Dawar. I'm 16 years old. I run my own software development and product design agency called Mogul. We're based here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. If any of you guys want to come by, our address is 612 Hamilton Street. So yeah, I started kind of learning programming and things like that when I was, I believe, in 2nd or 3rd grade. And then went local, door to door, selling my services for $10,000, $15,000 a month, and now I run a $350,000 a year agency, which is awesome.
My man.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing.
Thank you.
Very inspiring. How did this growth mindset start? What was the first book? What was the first turning point?
Yeah.
Your parents are, tell me a little bit about your parents.
So I'm Indian, so my parents came from India, I believe in the 1980s, sometime around there. And they just kind of been grinding. They worked extremely hard to get where they are. And I feel as if my success is always their success. So my goal is just to make them very wealthy, and my entire family very wealthy, and obviously my community.
So they started from nothing,
and
then what did they build?
So my dad first came when I believe he was 18 to the United States.
Cool.
And he worked at a grocery store, and he made like $400 a month. So it was my dad and my grandfather. So my dad made, I think, like $400, and then he took the $400, gave it to his boss to live in his garage. So they ate like it was insane, man. Yeah, and they had literally bread and like canned beans for almost like a year straight. That's all they ate, and they just kind of grinded their way up. And then my dad actually works in the travel industry as well. He's very successful within that industry. Cool. And he went from literally working like at a grocery store to making very good money at a Fortune 500 company.
Sweet.
Making good money as well. So it's just one of those things where I look at, and if someone from literally nothing was able to do that, someone that, for me, who was born and brought up in the United States, really have access to a computer and internet for 99% of my life, I think I really could do insane amounts of things. So,
nice. Yeah, I can relate to that because my dad is an immigrant too. I think they came here when he was like 18 or so. I thought he was 19 when I was born.
Wow.
So only had $2.50 for lunch, you know, and that's what he had all day. So that's pretty crazy. That's awesome. What sparked that mindset that you want to be, you know, you want to change the world?
Yeah, so for me, I actually thought that I was going to be successful through going through like the medical field. So so I'm Indian, right? We only got a few options. We got like doctor, lawyer, engineer, like 7-Eleven, Dunkin' Donuts. So we only got like the few things, right? Yeah. So I thought I was gonna like my thing was I'll go through Harvard and like be like a heart surgeon or like a brain surgeon, right? So that I thought that was gonna be my path, and it turns out I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade where someone told me about like just making websites. Like I made this like silly little website. I'm like, okay, I'll try doing it too. And I ended up doing it. And then I learned how to actually build games and just kind of grew from there. And I realized, and I remember I talked to my dad about it when I got 500 views on my first website. I remember it was Jay Dawar. Actually, I might be able to pull up my first agency website as well. It was,
that's so crazy.
Yeah,
When did this business start? Like when you made your first sale?
I think it was like 12 or 13.
2012.
It was 12. Yeah, I think I was 12 or 13 at the time.
And so that was, you were 10 years old.
No.
12?
Yeah, I was 12. I was 12. Yeah, 12 years old, I believe. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I was for a salon, and I think I charged $15 a month, something like that. $15 a month.
To do what?
To build a website.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is my first one. Still better than a lot of the websites I see today.
Yeah, man, that's good.
We turn ideas into dreams by building your brand identity.
Wow.
Yeah, this is when I built when I was like 13 years old.
That's crazy.
And then
that's crazy.
Let's see, our CEO. Jay's currently a seventh grade student at Sacred Heart. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a while. Like I've come a long way for sure. So it's definitely been a crazy journey, and like this is like the forums and stuff.
Yeah.
And what I did was I just took inspiration from like all the different websites. Like see a problem, I got this. Like see a problem tag from a company called. They make ice balls, like giant ass ice balls for whiskey.
Okay.
And I saw it on their website. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense to have that, like get more user feedback. So I put it on mine as well. And I got this from them. I got like this kind of setup from them. So at a young age, I just kind of took a lot of inspiration from different people. And kind of going back to what I was saying originally, when my first website hit 500 views, right? I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I got 500 views. He's like, are you making money? I said no. He's like, it doesn't really matter. Because at the time, what I realized was my parents went through so much, but their biggest thing was if you're not financially secured, you could have all the love in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you don't got money, it's a different story. So I'm like, you know what? He's right. Like I got 500 views. That's cool, but like, shit, I don't got the money, right? So that's when I literally was cold. I cold called over 100 businesses. And I finally got one person that landed, which was $15 a month at a salon. And from there, just kind of sparked up. I remember, she actually, believe it or not, she still owes me a gift card to Olive Garden. She said on her first meeting. And the journey has been so crazy because like I didn't know how to sell back then. Right. So like I would ask like the dumbest questions. Like if you saw my first I'd be like, how long have you had the building for? Like I don't even know how to ask for a deal. Like I don't know how to close, right? So it's just been insane. And after following people like Grant Cardone, Gary, Ty, John, of course, like it's been awesome for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
Wow. What do your parents say now?
Believe it or not, my parents were actually very against it.
Yeah.
Me doing the business because I was always like super smart kid in school. Always did very good athletically. But they were like, hey, don't spend too much time in the business because then you're not going to be successful later on. Like, you won't get like if you fuck up school, then no good college, no good job, like kind of that whole route.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what, like I have to. I only have this time to do it, right? And my dad and my mom went from like not doing. They were like, dude, this is stupid. To like, my dad's the CEO of my company now.
Nice.
So he works alongside me, which is awesome. He's been a tremendous asset to the company because he's been in business for so many years as well. Has had multiple companies as well. So having his expertise is so important. But it's really interesting to see how someone went from, don't do this, you're wasting your time, it's a waste, to like part of the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's sick. What would you say attributed to the growth of your business the most?
Probably.
That's a big business.
Yeah, like my thing was when I realized that first I had to change the people I was hanging around with.
Nice.
Number one thing, right? Second, it was I wasn't working as hard as I should have been, right? Like if I made like 5 phone calls a day, like I was like disheartened, like oh man, no one picked up, no one did this, and then when I started just like nonstop like filling up my pipeline. Like that's when it changed like really big for me, and that's when I started like actually start making progress. And then even later on this like earlier in the year, like in January, I didn't know that much about sales in regard to like how do I structure a meeting, how do I even have like the value proposition, right? And when I went to the 10X Growth Conference, and I finally learned about like sales doesn't have to be as painful as I think it is, right? And I finally learned about like, well, how do I add value, right?
You get Cardone U?
Yeah, I'm on Cardone U. And it's just like, it's so weird how I went from like, I didn't even know what questions to ask. And I was still closing deals north of $10,000 to now that I know the right questions to ask. So like, it blew my mind. It's like, that's the biggest thing. I come from a developer background. So sales was difficult.
Yep.
And now that I have the sales experience too, and I'm still learning upon that,
Unstoppable.
yeah, that's kind of what made me like personally enter it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
What was the hardest client? How'd you get him?
Hardest client. Let's see. Hardest client was probably it was probably one of our Fortune 500 clients, and they are a multi-billion-dollar company within the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
So within that industry is like the number of like documents and process you have to go through to even get the client initially is such a pain in the ass. Where for them it was like we pushed, and at the time I don't even know how to sell, so that made it even worse. But we finally got it, and I just kind of learned throughout the process that having like the issue I think that I had going into that was I didn't know how to create a lot of value in terms of not the development side, but like why should you go with us instead of someone else, right? I didn't know how to set that up. Like, hey, you should pay us X amount because of our service, and here's our track record to prove. We had the track record. I just know how to communicate that.
Right.
So when I finally learned to communicate that a little bit to the client, they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's the right person to go to. And I at the time I was 14, and I became the youngest consultant for the company.
It's pretty crazy.
It's awesome.
That's mind blowing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what's next for the company, and then what's next for Jay?
Yeah. So next for the company, growing a lot this year. Obviously working with you, John Henry. That's my man.
But you gotta tell us about that story, man.
Yeah. So I originally found out about John. Well, I believe a couple years ago when he had a debate with Ty Lopez, right? You know Ty? Yeah. So he had a debate with Ty. They were like kind of going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's like, I like what he's doing, right? Then I kind of didn't think about it for a couple of years, and then I looked at a story randomly because at the time when he was with Ty, like when he was like going back and forth with Ty, he had like 40,000 followers, right? And I looked at his page again earlier this year, and it said like Allentown, PA. I'm like, what the is going on? Like, dude, I was freaking out. I'm like, he's like here for like something. I'm like, maybe it's just he's here for like 2 hours, no clue. Then I looked at a story the next week, and it was like he was in Allentown, PA again. I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? So I hit his DMs, and I spammed his comments like there was no tomorrow. Like, look at your DM, peep your DM, and I told people that I knew to go, like comment on his DM, and he finally met with me after like I think like a month and a half of talking.
Nice.
And we met actually at like this Starbucks.
Yeah.
And May 9th, and I was like, hey, like I see your website right now. It's not very good. I'll be very honest with you, but like I would love to work with you. He's like, I don't really need a new website right now. Like it's not that important for me. Like I got other stuff. I'm like, no worries. I'll do the website for free. Like don't even worry about it, man. He's like okay. and then I didn't like I was following up with him and stuff, but like he would look at my DMs, but like he wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
So then like this was on Friday.
Yep.
Friday we met him at the Starbucks. Like so I work in that office, and the Wi-Fi here is kind of shit at times. And I was just working, and John walks in. Like John, he's just like, hey Jay. I'm like, hey man. Like I was freaking out. And then literally we were able to close the deal right then. And then then Rob walked in. He's like, I'm interested in the website. And then a couple days later, here we are.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to John though.
Yeah,
like,
man, for sure.
Big ups for him.
It's crazy because I saw him doing business with you and how you did that website, automatically certified you for me, and it's like, all right, let's roll.
Appreciate it. Thank
crazy.
you.
How that works. All right. Next for the company, how big do you want to grow this company?
This company, I'm thinking like 2 to 3 million within the next like probably like 2.5 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
And then I'm also going to be going into the travel industry as well with our we're creating a separate travel platform as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that with my father, and then we're gonna be raising some capital for that. So if anyone wants to invest in that, let me know.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to that. That's a tremendous amount of growth opportunity, at least in the startup industry with travel. Travel is the one industry that's growing year over year, and with our platform, companies have the ability to save tens of thousands of dollars and save a lot of time in terms of efficiency because they're using the platform that's not only user friendly, but also can help them a lot in the back ends in terms of reporting, finances, and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's the minimum you put up are you getting from investors?
So we're looking at like anywhere from like $500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
So we're looking for investors right now, which is awesome. So we're working a lot on like the business planning, things like that right now. But
Super exciting.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Jay in 10 years?
10 years. 16 right now. 26. That's a good question. I'm probably gonna be running this, Modare, and the travel industry side by side, or I'm gonna merge them together to have the entire Modare team that specializes in like design development brought onto the travel platform.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything you would like to tell to someone who is in high school, maybe about to graduate, I don't know what they want to do for college?
I think the biggest thing is first change the people that you're around with. Grant posted something that I really always had a connection with. It was your network is equal to your net worth.
No doubt.
And even after seeing like the past couple of days, someone like John, millionaire, like super big guy, introduced me to someone like you who paid me literally a matter of a couple of days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having the right network around you will really make you more money. And there's also another guy that I am heavily inspired by. His name is Rand Segal. He's from Israel.
Okay.
He's a designer there. He has almost like 90,000 subscribers on YouTube as well.
Wow.
Posts content every day. Great guy. And he the minimum he charges for a website I think is like 10 grand, right? But his average ticket price is like 30 grand. And I'm like, it's insane, right? And I always ask him, like, dude, how do you do it? He goes, if you hang around people, like his biggest thing is like network, right? Like for me, I could spend I'm projected to spend anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 on Instagram marketing from October to the end of the year.
Wow.
And I legitimately think that will make me money. I already know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could spend even $5 grand to go to a conference, and that conference will make me 10 times more because the network I'm around. So I think biggest thing is, one, don't listen to your teachers very often. A lot of them don't know what they're talking about. I mean, I'll be brutally honest. Two, change the people you're hanging around with. And three is probably see how you're allocating your time. Because if you're spending time smoking weed or just playing video games 24/7, you're not going to make any money. So don't complain and start making money.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. 16-year-old, $350,000 man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Sweet.
This is awesome. So I'll get you the information we're talking today.
That's literally incredible.
Incredible, dude.
Like how?
That kid's a fucking monster. Like, that is so inspiring. Man. That is my new friend. Like, I am going to stick with him, get close. You see people who have the growth mindset, who are growing and moving and shaking. Those people you want to be around. Like he said, John, he wants to be around John. I saw John, same thing on IG. I was like, dude, I want to be around him. We connected, we got cool. Me and Jay's connected, doing business together. Let's get it. Find new friends, find better friends. You don't have to dump all your old ones. It's a little rude, but find new friends, find people that are above you, beyond your level, same mindset. You guys all grow together. Your peers are so important. Having mentors and everything is great, like following all these people because you learn a lot, but your peers, you guys are gonna grow together. Alrighty, so that's a wrap. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Comment, tell me what you like the most. Comment, tell me who your best friends, your next friends are gonna be, what you thought about Jay, and if you need a website, anything.